Hi, I'm Andrea, and maybe you've been watching my video series. I've talked about self-care during these stressful times. I've talked about managing and balancing anxiety, so thinking about not having too little, but not having too much. And then we started talking about what to do when you have too much. So how do you bring yourself back down? We talked about deep breathing as a way to calm your body. We talked about progressive muscle relaxation as a way to calm yourself. And these are both really important for lots of reasons. One reason is that you won't have those physical symptoms of anxiety, which are not very pleasant. Another reason is because when we're full of anxiety, we don't do our best thinking. Our brain basically turns off, which isn't helpful, right? We don't make good decisions. We're not going to respond appropriately. So we want to calm our bodies down and then decide, what are the thoughts that I'm having in this situation? Because thoughts actually have a huge implication on how we feel. Two people in the same situation could have very different thoughts about that situation. And because of that, they're going to have very different feelings. So if our thoughts impact how we feel, we want to make sure that our thoughts are accurate and our thoughts are helpful. If our thoughts are inaccurate, then we might be blowing things bigger, so catastrophizing. We might have black or white kinds of thoughts where like it's all this or all that, it's all good or it's all bad. Maybe your family's all good or all bad because you spend so much time with them. So we want to notice when we're having those kinds of thoughts, because those kinds of thoughts are generally not accurate, and it's what happens when we're feeling anxious. So we want to catch ourselves in those moments and decide, do I have any evidence for this? Do I have any evidence for this particular thought? And if you don't, then it's to try to come up with a thought that's more accurate. Another thing to think about is this thought helpful? So oftentimes when I talk to people, they talk about excessive worrying, and they might be worrying about a particular thought for hours, one thought for hours, and then their anxiety is through the roof. That's not very helpful. So at a certain point, you can think about it as an investment. Are you getting anything in return for thinking about that same thing again and again and again? Likely not. You haven't come up with any new solutions, and all you're doing is you're making yourself feel really bad. So what I would suggest in that moment is to hopefully notice that's what's happening. So probably remove yourself from the situation. So it might be moving yourself away from the TV or the tablet or your family, just to take some deep breaths and think, okay, I've been thinking about this for a couple hours. I need to do something to distract myself. So you might call a friend, you might go for a walk, you might watch a funny cat video or whatever it is that distracts you and might change your emotional state. That can help pull you away from that anxiety, that thought that you're stuck in. Now you might, as you're doing this other thing, get pulled back to that thought. That's okay. Just notice it and come right back to that other activity that you're doing. And the more times you do this, the more power you'll have over your thinking. You'll be able to notice it more clearly. You'll be able to notice when your thoughts are inaccurate or unhelpful, and you'll be able to detach in a really kind, non-judgmental way back to the activity you're doing. So I'm not suggesting when you notice that you're pulled into this anxiety-producing thought that you beat yourself up for being a really bad worrier, but just that you notice and you be kind to yourself and you think, what's the best and most effective thing to do in this situation? So it might be, after several hours of thinking the same thought, to let it go and do something else. So moving forward, we're going to talk about some mindfulness strategies, but hopefully today was helpful for some people, just to notice our thoughts and make sure that they're accurate and helpful, and that we're managing our anxiety so that we can respond in the most effective and compassionate way for ourselves and for other people. So I hope everyone's doing well, and I'll see you tomorrow.